Something a little different tonight. We're having dinner with Uwe Boll, the director of Blood Rain, as well as House of the Dead and Alone in the Dark. He's eating Thai food with us, drinking some wine,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk movies. First off, I'm kind of interested, like, how you got involved with movies. Like, what was your childhood like? What movies inspired you to get started?
In general, the moment I really made the decision I want to make movies was Mutiny of the Bounty with Marlon Brando. I saw it on TV. I was 10, and I told my mother, I want to do that. I want to be in the Caribbean with a big pirate ship, and I want to make movies. And this was like, and they basically, my parents, they didn't thought that it's serious or something. They have nothing to do with the entertainment industry, and my father is at Bayer Leverkusen, a chemical guy. Now he's retired, so chemistry was his business. So, and then I started doing with Super 8 and video later, doing some short movies, and I kept looking more and more movies. We had a small theater in Burscheid by Cologne, where I'm coming from, in Germany, and I actually saw on screen movies like Dr. Zhivago, Bridge on the River Kwai. They had a lot of like matinees and a lot of classical movies also playing, but also the Godzilla movies and this kind of stuff. So the 70s and the 80s basically. Yeah, and I never gave it up. So and then finally I started making some movies.
Did you go to school for it?
I went after the gymnasium. It's like high school, little. I tried to go to the film schools, and there were only like 2 film schools in Germany, in Berlin and Munich, and they got like 1,000 people that want to go there, but they take only 15 per year. So, and they rejected me, and I went there as a guest, basically. So, and I stayed there, and stayed there for a few months, and then I went to Vienna to a film school. They actually wanted to take me then, but I was like, I don't know, because it was too much theory, talking. So I made the decision to go back to Cologne, study something else, and do physically movie work, like going in productions, helping out, being a PA. And during my university, I teamed up with Frank Lustig, my partner from my Bolu company, and then we raised 60,000 mark, what is like $30,000, and we did German Fright movie, what is like a Kentucky Fried movie kind of thing.
Awesome.
And
I love that movie.
yes, and shot. We needed 7 months to shoot it, and we had like hundreds of actors in it. Everybody for free. We got the equipment for free. Kodak gave us the material for free. So we really squeezed it out, that budget. And finally we finished it. It was 90 minutes long on 35mm and 16mm. So the 16mm stuff we blowed up, and then I went to the Berlin Film Festival with it, and nobody bought it, but we got a few good reviews in the newspapers there, and we traveled with the print to the theaters and showed it like on a matinee basis, whatever, and then the word of mouth started. And we made around, I think, 160,000 marks back. So we made really profit on it. And so we kept going.
What's the primary difference between German cinema and U.S. cinema? Do you think there's a different sense of humor, different sensibility about the movies that catch on there?
Absolutely. And my problem is that I grew up with U.S. movies. So I'm a big genre fan, and in Germany, genre is not really big. So you have more movies, melodramas, and even comedies, but very, let's say, German comedies.
Are they broad?
In a way, but you have the main German movie is art house. Like you have like kind of whatever. Goodbye Lenin, for example, is a good example. It's a good movie, and or Run Lola Run, or this kind of stuff. What is shown here from time to time, but there are a lot of other movies that are not getting out of Germany, and you have like a mixed up thing. You have a lot of historical themes and period pieces and all that stuff, what is not really good for export. It's like the French movies. It's like 90% of the French movies, nobody wants to see it outside of France. So, and Luc Besson makes it different, for example. So
That seems to kind of be a theme amongst most foreign films, though. Like a lot of the Asian films are kind of somewhat art house based. I mean, you got a lot of the kung fu stuff, but you know, like 2046 and.
Yeah, you definitely have more like. I think it seems to me like foreign cinema is able to take some risks that we can't take in America because the movie making machine has become so huge and corporate.
Right. It is, but this is the good and the bad side of European cinema. The European cinema is almost TV and subsidy driven. So that means if you don't convince like a jury in a way, you never get any money. And then if you go there and you say, I want to do a movie like German Fried Movie, then nobody gives you any money because they think it's not only politically incorrect, it's also, they don't even know Kentucky Fried Movie.
Right.
So, and then you have a problem to sell a movie like this. And the kind of movies I did later was also like more genre. And it's tough to get in Germany any money for this. And what I learned then is the foreign buyers, a Spanish company or Italian company, they have no problem to buy a movie I shot in US with US actors in English. But if I would do the same in Germany with German actors, I would not get any sale to Italy or Spain. Yeah.
Do you think it's? Do you think it kind of plays into the thing where it's easier to sell an English-speaking movie worldwide than it would be to sell a German movie worldwide?
Absolutely. You sell a German movie only worldwide if it was in Germany a big success in the theaters. Like a Lola Run, or it never came here without being in Germany already a big hit.
Right.
And the US market is, even as a direct-to-DVD market, in a few cases, a very good market to sell movies from US to whatever, Thailand and Japan, Spain. Everybody's used to it, so everybody grows up with US movies. It's the strongest export article of USA is actually movies. Yeah, and I thought always oil, or something like that. What is that? What US is exporting? You have really super strong is the computer stuff with Microsoft and this kind of Apple and even if they don't manufacture everything in US and movies and. What is influencing also a lot of people worldwide. It's one of the funny things. What I think in the last few years is actually I think that movies they should entertain, and if you do a genre movie, you shouldn't start trying to do something else. What I think if you go back in the film history, there's a lot of genre movies. They are so good even after 20 years because they are straight genre and they are not trying to mix it up with now we have to have a message in that movie or we have to have whatever a political theme into the movie. Nobody wants to really see that. A John Wayne Western you still can see after 50 years and it's still modern in a way because they didn't try it to put something temporary in. So it's the same with a John Carpenter movie like the Escape from New York. I always can see again, and it's not aging in a way.
Is it because of the archetypes that you think are present in those movies?
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of curious, going back to your parents. How did they start reacting when you started kind of following your goal? You know, what I mean, was it one of those things like you're not considered legit until you make money, or was it just like, oh, we're behind you, we're happy
It's
that
interesting.
you're doing that?
Yeah, and I thought the whole time that they go against me.
Yeah.
But they didn't make it. So
Yeah.
my father actually like copied in the company he worked for all my scripts. So I had that. I was I think 17 and 21. I was really sitting there and writing scripts and submitted it to everybody and production companies, TV stations, and nobody ever bought it. And you get then your letters back like from the TV channels, no. And but whatever I wrote, for example, and I told him I need 20 copies of that script. He did that in the company, came back with 2,000 pages, yeah. So So I'm really happy that he supported me the whole time, but indirect. It was not like, great, Uwe, that you want to do be a film director. They were not super happy about it.
Yeah.
But they never came up and told me, look, do something else. It is completely senseless, you idiot. Yeah. So this also never happened, and my mother was always supporting me the whole time, and I think this was in a way important, because if you get so much hits in the face to get it going at one point, then it's tough if you would be at home also and everybody would flip out on you and tell you what loser you are and you should stop thinking even about it.
Well, it's very difficult to have enough of a. I mean, I don't care what they say, and no matter how big and strong your self-confidence is, I mean, after so many hits, it's gonna take a tumble. So it's always nice to know that you've got people in your corner. But have you ever thought about like revisiting any of those old scripts and that you made that you wrote when you were younger and turning them into movies now?
More or less ideas from that scripts. I don't think that from my position right now, I would not say that the scripts were really good. So I could not say like, oh, this script was a masterpiece, now I do it. So all that scripts would really need work. But there are, like in a lot of that scripts, are some really cool ideas, because I've wrote it in the sense like what I never saw in a movie, or how I want to do it. And so there are very good scenes, basically. And I wrote a war movie. I think there's a great a middle part, like a battle in the middle part, how this battle turns. It's I never saw this in a movie before, and it would be really cool to have it in a war movie. But the overall story of my war movie, it's not good. Yeah. So, and this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Listen.
Go ahead.
Oh no, that's fine. I was going to ask in relation to that, like when you sit down to actually write a script, what's your process? How do you actually go about that?
Yeah, it's actually a very problematic subject matter what you're coming up with, because I was at this point, after I finished my university in Germany, you go to the army or you do social work. So, and I drove an ambulance for 1.5 years. So, so I cannot say that this really was a tough job in a way. Of course, you see some people dying and dead people after a car crash and this kind of stuff. So it's, but it's far away from the Martin Scorsese movie where you're really getting it that you get trauma or something. It's not the case. So
you weren't popping speed.
No, it's like it
as an ambulance driver.
Absolutely. So but in that time, I had a lot of time where you sit there and you have nothing to do because nothing happens. So so what is actually good if you have a day without driving out. And I've wrote a lot of time there. So I was in my separate small room, and I can write only if my phone is not ringing, if I have I'm a slow writer. So I need like hours before I start writing, and I need music. And in the earlier days, I was really like sitting there, and I could hear over and over again the same music. Most of the time, classical music, to be honest, because songs are too small and they're getting you out of it. So, but if you have Bach playing for hours and hours and hours, you're coming into a completely different mood emotionally, and then I start writing, and then I don't stop. So, and this is my problem right now. Is since years I have no time anymore to write. The last things I put it really deep input in the scripts were Heart of America, my movie about school violence, and where I was and after it I have no time to take myself out of my business life, because I have, from the financing to the production to the distribution, I have like 3 battlefields. And not only one. So, and this is a huge problem if you actually want to do something.
Right.
And so the point is, I cannot sit down and write for 30 minutes, and then I do some business, and then I write for 30 minutes, so that I click it from this side to that side. It's impossible for me.
So it's constantly like a double-edged sword. You want to be successful, and you want to have these things gain more notoriety, but at the same time, it totally cuts into your your personal.
Yeah, right.
Do you feel like giving up responsibility for scripts and like and directing off of other people's scripts has would you have rather they been your scripts? Would you have rather like written the script and had full control over things?
I told on House of the Dead, of course, was absolutely not my movie. In a way, I took the script how it was approved by Sega. The whole production was ready to go basically. So, and I felt really bad on set with the script. And if you ever talk to the actors of House of the Dead, they know that I really omitted like 30 pages of dialogue. And I was sitting there like, I cannot stand it. It should be, I want to change it. This was reality. So then, on Alone in the Dark, I put it way more already into the story process, into the script process. And, but it was also a tricky situation because I was insecure on my own. What is that what the American audience really want? So, and then we had Rush and Shera, the two German guys writing it. And we had Alain Mastey from Canada rewriting it. And then it went almost mixed up. And I got good, like people told me, basically, the Alain Mastey thing is way better. But he had it very much, let's say, ethno kind of thing. With that artifacts and all that stuff. It was even way more as in the Rush Shera script. And Rush Shera script was way more straight genre.
Right.
And I think now we mixed it too much up in the end. What was maybe a big mistake for Alone in the Dark. At least I was involved in the whole process. And on Blood Rain was the first movie then actually where I really put it a lot of input in the script also. And I told Gwyneth Turner basically all the major story points and in what way we actually want to do it. And after it, the Dungeon Siege experience was the hardest one so far. What turns out in the end, I think, in the way best movie I did, and because we hired Freeman and Glenn Bennis to do the script. They took 1.5 years writing it, and then it was basically not doable. The script, I don't want to say that the script was bad,
Right.
but it was not doable. It was like a $500 million movie. Yeah. So and then we said like, okay, but we have to have it more structured in a way that it's actually possible to do. So we hired Doug Taylor, another writer, and he went into it, and he is really a genius. And he took all the points I had and transformed that script into a completely new one, basically, but doable for 60 million, what is in our case maybe like a 80 or 90 million major movie, to have that human element in it. So I wanted to focus on Dungeon Siege really in the characters, and I told him so absurd it is the first movie, forget genre, say it is a melodrama, say it is something where we want that the people are crying because of the story and not that the people are excited about the great CGI shots we have. So, and I think he really fulfills that, and so I'm very happy with that movie. But even that is like now, where we are right now is that I want to do Postal next, and I've written it.
Right.
So I will go away from Germany also. For that nobody finds me basically for 7 or 8 weeks, and I've wrote already a lot of stuff down, but I really need like time completely out where I can sit down and write it how I want to do it, because it's back actually to the German friend movie times.
Right.
So this is a chance, Postal, to do something crazy, incorrect, dark humor, and still with a lot of action, but more a kind of Pulp Fiction kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in Sin City, it was a great sense of humor in also. What I loved, it was my favorite movie was Sin City last year, and I think this is a way to go with a Postal movie. And I don't feel good if someone else writes it, so I want to write it, and then I want that the video game company approves it or gives me notes, or they say this is not good or whatever, and we change it this way. But I don't want to have another writer helping me out there for this.
Well, I've got a question. Can I bust out with a question?
Yeah, of course you
All
can.
right. So obviously, a lot of the movies that you produce and direct are based off of video games. I mean, is it one of those things where you play the video game and then you come up with the idea like this would make a great movie, or is it that they approach you and then you say, oh, okay, I'll do it?
It's a mix. It's a mix because the business decision to keep going with video game based movies was really based on House of the Dead, because House of the Dead was a good sale worldwide and it made a lot of money, especially in the DVD market. And and I was raising money in Germany against competitors, and the competitors, they financed Lord of the Rings and kind of movies like this. So my only advantage was that I actually take care of the whole production, so there are not a lot of soft costs in the budgets. So we save money in the production, and we have our hand on the distribution. So we're getting more revenues out of it. And if you would ask John Rhys Davis what he got out of the profit points he got from Lord of the Rings, he will tell you zero, and this is the case. This is the biggest problem. So this was my asset I had, and I looked into it then, and because of the internet situation after House of the Dead, there were a lot of people coming to me with ideas.
Yeah.
And so Jörg Trittel from LA, a scriptwriter from LA, but a German guy, he worked on Alone in the Dark, and he came up with a proposal, what is with Alone in the Dark. So I checked it out, and I think it's great. Edward Canby, great character, interesting for a movie. And then he made the contact with Atari, and I got the rights. This was the whole process. And so it went on. So that another, like Brandon Baker, he worked for Myriad, and he had the contact to Majesco for Blood Rain. So he called me up. He said, "What's up with Blood Rain? I can make a contact." So and then this is the way I got approached. And Chris Taylor from Gas Power Games, he's from Vancouver, so he was in Vancouver. We shot in Vancouver, other movies, and then we came to the Dungeon Siege property from Gas Power Games. So right now it's really like I get tons of people, they're writing me and they're sending me scripts of movies, like Hitman script, Metal Gear Solid script, whatever. There are tons of this stuff coming on my desk, and I don't even know, is this now made from the game company, or is it who wrote the script for what? I even have Alien vs Predator Part 2 and 3 on my desk already, even if they never said it. So this is the thing, so a lot of times it's bullshit, because people are writing scripts on spec, and they try now to get me first before they're getting the video game company involved. And I get offers for video games also from all kinds of companies, but normally this is not the best property they offer to you. Right. So they go for the medium success thing.
The safety.
Yeah, and then they're coming like, oh, we want to make the movie, then we do a new game also. So they wait that I do something with it, so that they can maybe do another installment of the game.
So we've heard that you were linked to Metal Gear Solid. Is there any truth to that?
There's a different situation now. There were people hired by the game company to write a script. They gave me the script, and now they went back to Konami to talk about the whole process. And I wrote back, look, don't give me the script if Konami don't want me. Right. So let's for what? And they said, no, we are all getting it in the right alley. And these are people from France, actually, so French people. And I don't know what it's all about. I love Metal Gear Solid, like Hitman, and Hitman I didn't get also. That Vin Diesel has Hitman now, and I still hope we can maybe make a deal together and we can do it together. And my whole Fear Effect acquisition on IDOS was made because I wanted to do Hitman. So and this was like a replacement. And he said, look, if we do Fear Effect first, we give you Hitman, and then it never happened. And I was really upset about it, where I read it in the trades that Vin Diesel gets the Hitman rights. He would be good as Hitman, maybe. So maybe Jason Statham would be better.
I think Jason Statham
would be better. Yeah, I agree.
And I mean, you worked with him on Dungeon Siege. What was it like working with Jason?
It's he's a real sports guy. So he's doing all his stunts. He almost broke his ankle, so we had a lot of problems to schedule it then for 2 weeks, slower action with him, or no action, or talking parts, because he couldn't jump. And he's really refusing to do stuff with a stuntman. He can do flips, double flips, all that stuff.
So he's out to kill himself.
Yeah.
Don't you feel? Do you feel that makes your job easier as a director though, when you're able to have talent that actually is able to do the stunts, and you can pull back the camera and say, "Hey,
Do it.
this is the real action that
Absolutely.
you're seeing."
Yeah, it's huge. If the fight on Blood Rain, for example, I think we helped it a lot with the camera, with the edit, with speed ramps and
Yeah.
everything. On Dungeon Siege, people like Brian White, Will Sanderson, he's also in Blood Rain. He's Domist, he's the guy who's Kagan's right hand. He's also he's very good with the sword and horseback riding. Kristana Loken is very good. She's also in Dungeon Siege,
But not Michael Madsen.
No, not
because
Michael
he
Madsen.
was making his own stuff.
Yeah,
up.
or Michelle Rodriguez. These actors were not so proven
Right.
with a sword. And we had Brian White, he was a football pro on Dungeon Siege, or Ron Perlman. They are really good in action and used to it. And Jason is a real sensation. So he against Jet Li would be a cool fight. So he's really good in martial arts. He's very good in gymnastics, and you're totally right that as soon you can show it a little more in total, like in a wider shot, it is way more impressive if people see it that he's actually doing stuff
Yeah.
like this. Yeah.
It's the difference between a Bruce Lee movie and Daredevil.
Oh,
Okay.
nice comparison.
It's also it's also the truth.
It's true.
But the future, we're looking towards the future. What we've got Dungeon Siege coming up, and then after that, obviously you mentioned Postal. Fear Effect seems like a movie, even though you kind of said that it was related to wanting to get Hitman. It seems like the perfect Uwe Boll movie. I mean, you've got like violence,
Lesbian women.
Who doesn't like lesbian women?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
So what's your feeling on that? Because we've heard you talk a couple times on the subject, and it doesn't seem like you really shy away from, shall we say, sexuality in movies, and you definitely like violence, and it seems like everything is you're kind of breaking things down to their most basic elements in cinema.
well, part of the reason why we even wanted to meet with you and talk with you is because when we went to your Blood Rain junket, we saw the what was that thing
It
called?
was like the EPK. It was
Yeah.
like you talking about the movie.
And you
DVD
were
extras.
had such a good presence on that film. We were just like, dude, this is awesome. We need to talk to Uwe. So
Actually, I was originally at the House of the Dead premiere in San Francisco.
Yeah,
that
it's
premiered
cool.
with Clint Howard and the crew and yourself, and you introduced that movie, and it was awesome. We had
a lot of fun. So.
Seriously, I thought the crowd was very receptive at that screening.
Yeah.
One of the questions I've always had for you in regards to House of the Dead is, why did you clip in little bits of the video games? Yeah.
Two reasons. First, we really saw it in the beginning. It's cool.
No.
Not anymore. And it will not happen anymore.
You're over it?
Yeah.
Because
I'm really over it.
Okay, so
But-
there's that sequence, and
Yeah.
then there's the minute-long, what I call the blipvert sequence, when, you remember Max Headroom?
Yeah.
When they would show those people those commercials and it would make their head explode? There's that one series of cuts that's like probably about 330,000 cuts in about a minute that kind
It's
of
11,000 cuts.
Is it 11,000?
Yeah.
See, I wasn't so far off at 30,000.
We went down to 1 or 2
Frames.
Yeah. And because I felt, look, the problem was for me was on House of the Dead, because I didn't felt good with the whole story and the whole character. So I thought, what can I do? What is really remarkable? What is something where maybe people talk later about it? And so we had that big battle in front of the house where they have to fight their way to the house. And and this was 2 nights to shoot. And then
Shot that in 2 nights?
No. It was 8 nights. So it was like on the call sheet was it then every day only the chaos continues, because like my AD was flipping out, everybody was flipping out, because they all were like, how we go way over budget here, what's going on? We had the Matrix set up with 300 still cameras, so everything was
for every character.
Yeah. And it was like we had a turntable, what is an interesting thing, and so I thought, look, I want to do here, this is the big battle. It's like 15 minutes long in total, and it gets completely out of control. It gets faster and faster. To do a little like pop art culture, because video clips and video games are kind of pop art. What I thought, like so, and I thought let's do something what maybe some people think it's cool and some people never saw before, and so we came up with all that equipment. It was pissing rain night times. And it was also, for example, I told the extras, attack the actors, grab the actor. It's not allowed normally, yeah. So and I said like, give a shit, like jump on him. And Sean Williamson, the producer, was flipping out. Everybody was like, and in this night, is actually the whole Sega crew was there.
Oh, nice.
You got also the game creator got shot and everything. It's in the movie. And with that turntable is an interesting thing because it's only in House of the Dead. It's not allowed anymore. They destroyed the table. What is it? It is a platform like this where the camera spins around, like way bigger, like whatever, like the whole room. And you have people fighting on it, and the camera is on a rig and spins around with 150 kilometers an hour around that thing. It gets really like, it starts like a space shuttle kind of thing, like and goes faster and faster and faster. And if you start shooting, you have to switch the camera on. Everybody has to go away and hide because it's 360. So you see everything, so there's no crew possible. So you have the two people fighting there or shooting or whatever, and if something happens, they would be dead because if a camera is on,
Awesome.
camera is like 80 or 100 kilogram, and if this thing starts
Takes someone's
really
head off.
rolling and the guy gets a kick or whatever and falls backwards, like here, whoop, he would be cut in half. And this is the reason they never insured it anymore, and the whole...
So that came in?
No, we used it, but then they told us, because I wanted to use it again later, and then they told me no, we had to destroy it. It's not allowed anymore. And so there are a few really, really cool things in House of the Dead. What I think, what is even if it's a silly story, there are interesting action sequences in. And the funny thing is that even if people say, what a piece of shit, everybody saw it.
Yeah.
There's a thing, like, and I know a lot of people that even saw it 2 times because it wasn't
I own
interesting.
It, and I've seen it like 10 times.
Yeah,
so
because
it doesn't.
it's still entertaining, and it's there's a thing where I think in the end, so what should I say? And but coming back to Fear Effect, we had like 3 different scripts now, and I don't feel good with that whole project right now. We have Hunter's Reckoning, we have a great script, and also this is on the edge. Like, I don't know now, should I really do it? Because it's really close to, it is like an X-Men in really brutal, but it is a little close to Alone in the Dark, and I don't want to do the same thing right now.
There's a lot of zombie
kind of
stuff,
thing, body snatching kind of thing, and I don't want to do this right now, and I hope I do it later. And the scriptwriters, they actually they had Sean William Scott. He wanted to be in Hunter to change his image a little. Yeah. So, but the question is, if he would be in a movie like this, what would really happen with the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a great actor. But with Tara Reid, for example, you have a problem in Alone in the Dark that she's not the right actress.
Yeah.
In general, to do something like this. I like her in a comedy. It's okay. Yeah. But in a serious thing, you have a problem. And the same is with Sean William Scott in Hunter. So we have Postal and we do Far Cry. So Far Cry is a great script.
Yeah.
It's locked in, and we do that in spring next year. Because of the typhoon monsoon season starts in April.
Because it's jungle.
It's jungle and this kind of stuff. So you can, and I cannot do it in October, November or something. So we have to do it early 2007. And this is the reason we do first Postal in summer. So
Which you're gonna write.
Absolutely. If I ever finish that.
I recommend Mozart's Requiem to write by when you're doing Postal. That's what I always write by, and it's unbelievable.
Is there ever any kind of movie, project, or video game where there's just too much violence or too much sexuality that you're not going to touch? I mean, Postal's pretty violent in regards to video games, and I mean, I obviously have no problem with it. I mean, you know,
You're a saucy lass.
I mean, yes. I mean, the more blood and tits, the better, in my personal opinion. But, but I mean, some people might shy away
like
from
her
that.
in the world.
Yeah, you know.
You should buy a ticket for Blood Rain tonight. So
Hells yeah, dude! I've always wanted to be a vampire.
He said,
Oh,
buy a ticket to
Buy-
Blood Rain.
bring me 10
and then
black
that
bucks.
too.
So I have no problem with violence, and I'm a big fan of harder movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally, in Germany, like my friends, whatever, if we go in the theater, if there is a new thriller coming up, and if it's PG-13, we will not go.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
we start looking at from
It's
R
either
rating.
N17 or
out.
NC-17 or nothing.
Look, in Germany are way more movies NC-17, and
Mhm.
nobody has a problem that they're getting out. Here, if you have NC-17, it's like you're on the blacklist.
Yeah.
So so you have to get that R rating.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're not getting attraction audience advertising. And in Germany, you have the clear, like 50% of the movies, of the harder movies are R-rated, and 50% even NC-17 if you go like over the top.
Right.
So but they don't. But a normal multiplex theater will still play it.
Yeah.
Right.
So and they even have from some movies 2 versions out. It's the same with Alone in the Dark. We have a way harder version in Germany out on DVD, and it was number 1. And the normal version was only like number 12 in the DVD charts, and the hard version stayed like 3 weeks number 1 in Germany against War of the Worlds. So they were
Yeah.
same time out, and so there is a huge audience for like some gore stuff and a little more brutal stuff.
Do you find the prudishness kind of irritating when you're trying? I mean, you know what you want to do and what appeals to you, and the fact that there's a lot of people, you know, like Chris and myself and gamers and movie buffs who want the harder stuff, but at the same time we're kind of kept from it because of that N17 like blacklist rating. I mean, do you ever get pissed?
Absolutely, I'm actually pissed right now that Lionsgate is not releasing
Yeah.
the director's cut.
Yeah. Oh. All
Yeah,
right.
because I cannot release it in North America without Lionsgate. They have the distribution rights, and they're not releasing the hard Alone in the Dark version, the gore version.
That's
yeah?
too bad.
So and I don't get this because there is definitely a huge
It'd
market
be a money
on
maker.
DVD. So I don't get it why they don't want to do it, and let's see what happens in the future.
Do you ever feel burned by like negative reviews? Do you feel like it really takes a chunk out of the butt out of what you're trying to do, or do you feel like you can get past it and it doesn't matter because you're making movies for a specific market and you know that it's there?
I think there are 2 things. Like the one thing is that there are reviews or whatever, they are like unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Where you really think like this guy, I don't know what movie he saw, and I have nothing. If you write Alone in the Dark was not a good movie because of I didn't believe Tara Reid's acting, I didn't understood the story, whatever. I can buy it all, and I have no problem. Not a problem. Or if you say House of the Dead was a kind of cheesy in it and not good actors, whatever. So, but if some people write House of the Dead or Alone in the Dark or is trash, then they never saw that movie because it is like from the CGI point, like how the movie gets made. It is these are normal feature movies, and Alone in the Dark didn't has worse CGI as Resident Evil or something. The creatures and all that kind of stuff is high end. There is nothing where you say like, is it an amateur movie or is it a direct to DVD title? And same with Blood Rain. And so then I think it's a kind of unfair if people are reviewing it in a way. Of course, it's all crap because it's from Uwe Boll, and this is a little. It has nothing to do with the real movie anymore. The same happened with Blood Rain. If I see that on Blood Rain were like 800 votes before the movie came out, yeah, with like whatever 551 points and 350 10 points, then it shows like. I have some fans and I have a lot of people against me,
right.
but nobody saw that movie, yeah. Because from the one screening in Austin, Texas before, I don't think that these 250 people, everybody went on and voted for it.
Right.
So it is maybe only Harry Knowles voted. So and the thing is that I really don't know.
350 times.
Yeah, this could be. Or they count his voice as 350 points on IMDb.
No, tell me what you really feel about Harry Knowles because
I don't want to say it. But the thing is that yeah, what I want to say is like reviews are, I have to accept it.
Yeah.
Let's say it this way, I have to accept it. It's their opinions. They have to have their opinion. And in general, what I tell myself is there are a lot of people, if you actually like a movie or whatever, you're not going online and start making a thread.
Exactly.
So there are more people that didn't like something and then they go out and write something about it. And on Blood Rain, what I recognize so far is that there are a lot of people actually, even if they are shy to say it, even on IMDb, like people like, oh, I cannot really say the movie was bad, or I'm sorry to tell you the movie was not bad. Yeah, so it was way better as Alone in the Dark and House of the Dead. So this is like the response, what gets more and more out there, and then they're getting directly shit from everybody else who didn't saw the movie. Like, don't tell me it's completely bullshit. It must be a disaster. And so this is what I think. It's I don't know what it is, but they went off on it. Like this is like separate from my real movies. Is now that whole internet person of Uwe Boll out there. So
it's never cool to like. I mean, it's never cool to like something. And it's internet's notorious for people that are like that, whether they do or not. I mean, the chances are there's probably quite a lot of people that enjoy the movie and will still write the fact that they didn't just because.
yeah.
That's what, the internet's for, so it's an unfortunate double sword kind of. I mean, we, even in the gaming industry, we come across like tons!
Even in the games?
We
invented that.
I personally can tell you that we come across tons of that, so.
She's constantly ripped on.
I'm constantly,
So,
I hear you on that one.
But, and this is for me important, especially here on that table, is I think that there is a thing really going wrong in that sector, movies and games, because the reality is that the game industry it looks like a little like a loser in that game, because what happens is the big movie companies, they take over the game industry. Now they make a big feature and they should make now the video game to it. We make King Kong and you are the small fucker, you can do the King Kong game. So this is like the attitude behind it. And the real classic games, and the game industry made more money as the film industry. We shouldn't forget that in total, like the theatrical industry. And they getting like treated really, really bad. And there is no support for this kind of video game based movies or whatever, also in the studio system. And what I think is a little silly is that especially the big game fans are completely against the video game based movies. Instead of, my question is, okay, good luck with Cheaper by the Dozen Parts 3, 4, 5, and Dick and Jane 2, 3, 4, 5, and Rumor Has It 2, 3, 4, 5. So the question is, what you want to see? What is that? What you really want to see as a movie, so that they go against this kind of movies, make everything. They make sure that nobody goes to buy a ticket. Yeah, and it is ridiculous in a way. Instead of supporting it and say, look, let's check it out. Let's see how it goes. And then we have our opinion, because they should be happy that there at least a few people are out there making actually genre movies. And the studios are not going in a big risk. And after Doom, you can be assured that even Vin Diesel will have a big problem to finance Hitman.
Yeah.
This is the reality. So and I don't know why I get then all that
Crap.
shit. Yeah, all that crap, and especially from people that never saw a movie from me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what do you think if you released a movie and you put it titled, Postal by John Smith, not by Uwe Boll,
Yeah.
you would get how much less would the backlash be?
It would be way less, 100%. But the problem is how that should work. It will work only if I really don't do it and I go away and I say, here's my script, good luck.
Well, I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying
But then the problem you have is that everybody's going to be hammering for that movie eventually. Why hasn't this turned into a movie yet? But then you come out with the movie and it's like, well, they're spiting their nose. They're
right now
their
they actually gave me advices like this. People gave me advices like this. But the reality is, I'm so tracked down.
Yeah.
They know it.
Yeah.
They would never, if they would find out that it was all bullshit and my name changed or something, and then they would find me, and it will be faster out as my.
Have you ever thought of embracing that though, and kind of being just like, screw you to everybody else, just like totally 100% embracing the fact that people are giving you shit and just kind of throwing it back in their face and be like, well, this is Uwe Boll and you're just gonna have to fucking deal with it. Because that's what I would do.
Look, what I never did is, I never went on message boards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
good
wrote
idea.
about, yeah, but you have there 150,000 Uwe Bolls writing on message boards. And instead of me, what is bullshit, but what they try, and actually some people really think I am whatever in the
That
message
person?
board. So
Yeah.
what I did instead is I go and give interviews.
Okay.
But this is also coming back. This was the reason I said yesterday, today will be my last interview for a long time, because now I'm tired of it in a
Yeah.
way, and I don't want to do it anymore, and I don't want to, because whatever I say, they will turn it against me. And then it is, I think my strategy was and is to say what I think and what I feel and what I think is the right and the truth or whatever, how I see it, and then and they don't handle it. And I think there are, like, actually, if I break it down into like a few personalities out there, there are people that are really jealous, and they think they really can hurt me with that. This is the thing, like, there are people, they are wannabe filmmakers or whatever, and they are jealous that I actually did it. And because I'm not part of the studio system, I'm an enemy, what they think they can destroy or attack.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it's a thing what is in their head. Well, because if you really go on the message, if you do it for an afternoon or whatever, you
I'm
really
familiar
see
with
people writing on a daily basis hundreds of emails about me. On a daily basis for months and months and months. and this is like so and then you think they're really obsessed about that thing, yeah? And this is one thing. And the other guys are only they only think like, let's give him shit. It's fun, yeah. I saw people in the IMDb message board. They wrote actually like, I don't even know who he is, but it's really fun to trash him. So so this was actually a really funny commentary. Yeah.
That is so sad.
Yeah, that's so
That's
classic.
just classically
classic
sad.
internet.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, at least I hope that this interview with IGN has made you feel a little bit more positive in
I
regards
got
to
good
interviews.
food, good wine, so
I mean, and it doesn't
I'm really
get much
happy.
better than that. I mean, honestly,
Good food,
and
good wine.
you get to trash about the message board, and I'm right there with you. I am so in your corner right
This
now.
is good.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for talking with
Yeah,
us.
no
And,
problem.
And
See
next
you
time we
soon.
gotta get another bottle because
yeah,
my
the
glass
one
is
bottle
empty.
it was pretty pathetic.
way
I'm
too
sorry.
short.
No, it
What
was
were you gonna say?
perfect.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks.
Thanks, and check out where Blood Rain is.
Oh, yeah.